Have you ever seriously asked yourself why? Why do some people earn so much more than others? And you know, the difference in income is so enormous with some people. And you'll find two people involved in the same project. One is earning phenomenal profits and the other's not. Why do some people earn so much more profit than others on exactly the same kind of projects? Now that's a question I think we have to ask ourselves. And we're going to find out that paradigm is what makes it or breaks it for you. When you clearly understand what a paradigm is, how a paradigm's formed, and how a paradigm is changed, I'm going to tell you, you're going to hold the key to the profits that you desire. When I first gained an understanding of this, my life changed so dramatically that, well, it's got me in this business and I've just never got out of it. That was back in 1961. I picked up a book, Think and Grow Rich. And that book changed my life so dramatically that it was unbelievable. I was earning $4,000 a year at the time. Now, I know you may not have even been born in 1961, but it doesn't seem that long ago to me. I was earning $4,000 a year and I owed $6,000. And a man gave me this book and he said, Bob, if you will commit to read this every day, he said, your income is going to change like night and day. Now, I was 26 years old at the time. And I had had a number of people give me advice, but I never followed any of them. I left school early. I quit school. I never went to high school. I went 2 months to high school. I had no business experience. I really had nothing going for me, and I had a difficult time believing that my life could change to the degree that he was suggesting. He said, Bob, with a little discipline, everything will change for you. Well, do you know that over the next year, my income went from $4,000 to $175,000. Now, $175,000 is a pretty nice income today. That was in 1961. That was an enormous amount of money. And in less than 5 years, it had gone up over $1 million. Now, you may be wondering, what was I doing? I was cleaning floors. I started to clean floors on the side just to earn a little bit of extra money. And, you know, didn't really think it would go anywhere. But in less than 5 years, I was cleaning floors in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. And I was so shocked at the change that took place that I had to ask myself why. You see, I've been raised to believe, much the same as you probably have, that if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I knew I wasn't that smart, but I was earning a lot of money. I've been raised to believe if you're going to do well in business, you have to have a good formal education. I didn't have any formal education to speak of, and I wasn't only doing well, I owned the company. So I had to ask myself, you know, what changed? It took me 9 years to figure it out. But if you will really lock into what I'm going to say, and you will give me 6 minutes a day, just 6 minutes, I can guarantee you everything will change for you. Because at 6 minutes to success, we will be working with you every day, helping you change your paradigm. Now you'll say, well, I really don't have a lot of time to work at this every day. Do you know, I think it takes you probably 6 minutes to drink a cup of coffee, if it's hot coffee. It takes 6 minutes to do almost anything. And you may have a hard time believing that I could actually show you how to change your life in 6 minutes, but I actually could. See, your life will change in 6 seconds. It's the repetition of the information that makes the difference. And I'm going to show you how that's done. You know that you think in pictures. You actually think in pictures. Think of a feather. You don't see F-E-A-T-H-E-R. You get a picture. Think of a hot air balloon. A picture comes on the screen of your mind. You think in pictures. Now here's a question I want to ask you. What does your mind look like? What does your mind look like? Do you know if you, in fact, Just write that down. Write it down. What does your mind look like? I want you to ask the next 5 or 10 people you meet, what does your mind look like? And they're going to look at you like a deer that's stuck in the headlights. They're going to say, what do you mean? Well, what does your mind look like? And some of them will start to describe the brain. But the brain is not your mind any more than the fingernail is. You see, the brain is an electronic instrument. Your brain is an electronic instrument. As you activate brain cells, you alter the vibratory rate of your body. Your body is a molecular structure. It's a mass of energy and high speed of vibration. Now think of this for a moment. I'm going to ask you to look at your mind. In fact, let's look at your mind and your paradigms. Now there was a chiropractor in San Antonio, Texas in 1934. He was involved in the healing arts. And he was appalled at the state of the healing arts. He said, you know, the mind is an activity. It's not a thing. Nobody's ever seen the mind. In order to gain clarity and eliminate the confusion when you start to think of your mind, and if we're going to experience any health, we have to do that. If you want a healthy bank account, you're going to have to do that. If you want healthy relationships, you're going to have to do that. If you want a healthy sales result, a healthy business, you're going to have to do that. You have to do all of these things if you're going to make it happen. It's not a difficult thing to do, but it's something we have to do. And he said, I'm going to create a picture of the mind. And he said, let that represent the mind. And he divided the top half into 2 parts. He said, that's the conscious mind, and the bottom's the subconscious, and there's the body. Now, I'm just going to touch on this here because we've only got a few more minutes together. But if I was working with you every day for just 6 minutes, I would make this thing dance for you. Oh, yeah. In our coaching program, the people in our coaching program, they fall in love with this idea. Look here for a moment. This is the most valuable idea I have ever learned, and I've been studying this for 52 years every day. So let's take a look. Now, we're going to say yellow represents the organized educational model. The white represents the Proctor Gallagher Institute model. Now, we're going to say that to you. And these little things coming up here, we're going to say they're your antennae. They're your sensory factors. You can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Now, we'll just get that out of the road for a moment. But they're like little antennae hooked up to your conscious mind. Now, look at this model. This is the educational model that you're used to, that you went to school. And I don't care where you went to school, this is the model they used. The teacher gave you information, and you could hear it. And because you could hear it, you gathered information. Now, really pay attention here. This is not going to give you a brain hernia. That's the way it worked. You gathered information. Now, gathering information is exactly what it implies. That's where the books pile up in our conscious mind. Now, they want to know if we're learning anything. So every once in a while, they come along and they give us an exam. And if we pass the exam, they'll say, you know it. If we fail the exam, say you don't know it. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That is not knowing. Call it whatever you want. But piling information up in your conscious mind is not knowing. Gathering information is not knowing. Now, I'm going to talk to you about what you have to do. You have to listen to the information. You've really got to listen carefully. And you listen with your emotional mind. That's your subconscious mind. And if you listen really carefully, odds are pretty good you're going to learn something. Now, learning is not just gathering information. Learning is when you consciously entertain an idea, you get emotionally involved in that idea, and then you step out and you act on the idea. You literally do it, and you change the end result. Now, it's the feedback from the change in result that's the learning experience. I say, if you do this, this is what will happen. So you go and you do it, and the results change. And your consciousness picks it up, and you'll say, it did. That's learning. Now, school has you gathering information. 6 minutes to success. The Proctor Gallagher Institute has you learn information. And oddly enough, you don't have to learn much, and you're really going to rock. Now, watch this for a moment. Here's a model. School School gave us valuable knowledge. However, school never taught us how to alter the old paradigm. Therefore, we frequently do not do what we already know how to do. Now, here's what happens. A person gets superior knowledge, inferior results. That causes confusion. Now, think for a moment. Here's the model of the mind again. The conscious mind, the subconscious, and the body. Okay? Now, we'll get all that to go away for a moment. And where's all that knowledge? Oh, yeah, it's here in the conscious mind. But it doesn't translate into results. Have you ever noticed some people that are absolutely brilliant and they're broke? Think of the number of people that have gone to school, they get degrees coming off the business card, and they're not making it. Now, some do, but not many. Have you ever noticed that there are people who are actually functionally illiterate? They can neither read nor write, and yet they're earning millions. Now, there are people who have all this knowledge, and they're not making it. I have worked with large sales forces all over the world. And you know, there's people that have been around the business or the industry that they're in for quite a while. They know a lot, but it's not translating into results. Why? Well, you see, the paradigm is what produces the results. And if you want to change results, if you're going to change the results, there's only one way to do it. You got to change the paradigm. Now, you can cut it any way you want. You say, no, there's other ways. Okay, go ahead. Prove it. Because I've been working with this for 52 years. I actually teach this to psychiatrists. I have taught this to executives all over the world. I went into the Prudential of America many years ago. We raised the sales by hundreds of millions of dollars. And all I did was show the people how to change their paradigm. Now think about this for a moment. You may be wondering, well, how can you help me change when you don't know my business? I remember the first seminar I put on with the Prudential, there was about 500 people, 450 of them actually, in the room. This one sales agent come up and said, Proctor, have you ever sold insurance? I said, no, I never have. He said, I didn't think so. And I said, why are you saying that? He said, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, hold on a minute. I do know what I'm talking about. I just said I've never sold insurance. He said, you stood in front of us in that room and said anyone in that room could go out and write $5 million in a year. And I said, that's right. He said, you know, this company's almost 100 years old, and no one's ever written $5 million. Then I said, you could be the first. He said, you said we could do it this year. It's August. The year's over half gone. I said, I know that. It isn't going to take you as long to do it then. That man's name was Don Slovan. And I said, if you go back in the room and listen, you're going to find that things will start to happen. He was in Chicago. The first week in December, he had $5,200,000 worth of business on the books. He closed the year with a little better than $6 million. I worked right through that company. Sales went up by hundreds of millions of dollars. I never sold insurance. They knew how to sell insurance. They had been trained to sell insurance. They weren't doing what they had been trained to do. I believe you know how to do better than you're doing. It's the paradigm, and I'm going to show you how to change it. Now think of this for a moment. There's only two known ways to change a paradigm. One is through the constant spaced repetition of ideas that essentially are opposite to the paradigm. And look at this. The other way is a personal experience of an emotional impact. That rarely happens. It rarely happens. Now I'm going to show you something. I want you to watch this real closely. When repetition is necessary, why repetition is necessary when you're changing the paradigm. Now, I want you to let the white line represent the sound of a CD playing or the sound of me teaching you something. All right? That's what that white line represents. Now, I want you to let the red line represent you listening to the sound of me talking or the sound of a CD playing. This has happened while we're on this call. You go along, the red line, you're listening, and all of a sudden I say something and bang, an idea hits your mind and away you go on a thought trip. And where do you go? You went on to a different frequency. That's a thought frequency, and you're up here. This is where you're thinking about the idea I just said. Now look, below, the sound is still going. I'm still talking, but you're not listening. You hear me, because you hear with your ears, but you're not listening. You're emotionally involved in that idea that struck your mind. Let's go back. Here we are. Boom, an idea hits, and where do you go? You go up onto this thought frequency. You're thinking, and you're thinking, and then you come back down, and you go along, and you start to listen. And all of a sudden, bang, another idea hits, and off you go on another thought trip. If you keep doing that, and you keep doing that. See, some people listen to a CD once or twice, and they say, I know that. They may be able to pass a test if they were asked what was in it. Do you know what they're following? They're following the model that the educational system has programmed us to believe in. Corporations, their training program, follow the model that school follows. Now let's look at this for a moment. There is the person with all the knowledge. That idea that hits, it's in your consciousness. You gathered it, but it didn't change the paradigm. How is the paradigm built? The paradigm is built when you're an infant. It's built when you're an infant. You see, your conscious mind is not there. When you're an infant, your subconscious mind was wide open. That's why you learn the language you learn. The language that you speak is part of your paradigm. Do you know in some parts of the world, people learn to speak 4 and 5 languages before they're 3 or 4 years old? That's right. Now, if you're having trouble with one and you're growing up, you're probably having difficulty with that. But that's the way it works. The kind of food you like. Everything. Our paradigm is formed when we're infants. It's formed genetically. Now look at this. Let's take this structure down, and we'll just keep the idea that hit you. Now we're going to listen to the same CD again. Where does the idea hit? Hits in a different place. So you see the original idea? You're off on a thought trip when that comes up the next time. What do you think the odds are every time you hear me talking, just the same idea registers? It's not going to happen. Do you know what you want to make sure you do? You want to surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers and the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see greatness within you, even when you don't see it in yourself. That, my friend, is how my life changed. Now I want you to think of this. Every morning, you will receive a video from me. Once a week, you'll receive one from Sandra Gallagher. She is a financial genius, and she's going to teach you some wild stuff, believe me. This lady buys and sells, or did, bought and sold banks, merged banks, took them public. She is a wizard with the dollar, and she's going to come on once a week. But all the other days, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to be teaching you how to change your paradigm. 6 minutes a day. That's all it takes. If you will go now, we will show you how, for the price of a cup of coffee, your whole life will change. I'm going to tell you, it's that simple. Every day, I'm going to be there. And you're going to thank me. Now, I'm going to thank you for coming. But when you get there, and you start studying this, I could show you how to get results that stick, baby, and it works. I've been doing it for a long time. I work with people all over the world. I don't care where you're from. And your life will change. And we've got special offers for you. I'm telling you, we are a place to go if you want to really make your results change. The Proctor Gallagher Institute is designed with one purpose in mind, helping everybody win. You are God's highest form of creation. You've got power locked up within you that is beyond the scope of your imagination. And I look forward to meeting you in the near future. There we were, just 29 minutes together. Think of what could happen if I spent 6 minutes with you every day, because that's where we will be. You go and join, and I'll be with you. This is Bob Proctor. Thank you.